again with another Love Island ramble video. So I just finished episodes 6 and 7 and I have a lot to say. I'm so behind on this series. I'm gonna try and pick it back up like right after I finish this video. I'm gonna go watch episodes 8 and 9 so I can make, some more content because I've been so behind and I know you guys really like these videos and I really like making them. So I have my notes here and yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So I didn't have a lot to say for episode 6 and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while so I don't fully remember what was in it, but I'm gonna read off my notes. So I said, picking up where we left off, Sean is gone from the villa officially, which is really sad, but again, it is what it is. I guess he didn't get the opportunity to build that connection with anyone, so he had to go. Our current couples, episode 6, are Kenzie and Corbin, Trinity and Bryce, Bia and Gabriel, Kata and Zach, Anaya, Casey, Melanie, and Sincere. I will say that I'm starting to like Trinity and Bryce a lot more. I feel like they are the only couple that's genuinely playing the game correctly because Love Island is a game, okay? I feel like everyone's forgetting that they're getting too involved emotionally and that's why everything's backfiring, okay? Love Island is a game. So now we are, at the blindfolded bed challenge, and the challenge in itself was very messy. It was a very messy idea because it's like you're essentially just kissing everybody until you can find your match, and everyone did a pretty good job. Anaya was the best because Anaya was not there to play. She was not trying to be kissing on a whole bunch of people. She literally just wanted to find Casey, and that's exactly what she did. As far as Melanie and Sincere, the way that Melanie was going back and forth between Sincere and Coben was insane. Like, it was crazy, especially because she definitely knew that it was Sincere when she touched his head and his face. I thought it was funny because she's trying to act like, oh, I didn't know, and my thing is like, okay, maybe you didn't know it was Corbin, but you definitely knew Sincere when you were with him. You definitely know that was him, and it's okay to have a little fun, but I feel like, I don't know, it's just hard. I feel like Melanie needs to find some middle ground when it comes to exploring and having fun and also prioritizing Sincere, because the way she's doing it is just, it's very self-destructive and I don't think that it's looking good for them. And as we know, during that challenge, the 2 new bombshells popped out, which was crazy. We have Soul and the other one, I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot her name, but we have the second blonde. They're really pretty and they're already stirring up the pods. So we gotta wait and see what they're gonna do next. I don't know. So, and then I also wanted to mention Casey's comment, the comment that he made about being blessed. Casey, you're a dummy. I don't know. When him and Anaya talked about it, he was saying oh, I'm just a jokey person. I'm like, that's not funny though. It's not, because Anaya was right about one thing. Anaya always made sure to reassure Casey anytime something shifted and it was a potential threat to their connection. Anaya made sure to reassure him, so Casey making that comment was not funny, it wasn't cute, and I found it to be disrespectful as well. Okay, those are all my notes for episode 6. Now moving on to episode 7. So, as we know, Melanie was very, very, very hype when our third new bombshell, Caleb, walked into the villa. And you can already see that Sincere was not feeling that at all. And I completely understand Sincere. I feel like Melanie and Sincere's dynamic is definitely interesting because I feel like one day they're trying to build something with each other and the next day they're invested in other people and what others are doing. And I feel like those two things just obviously don't go hand in hand. I feel like Melanie for sure is definitely struggling to find a common ground between, you know, building a connection and then having fun on the villa, because people's feelings are getting hurt and I would be hurt. So she was literally jumping up and down. She was doing too much. Like, if you like, you can't say you like Sincere as much as you do in this, that, and the third, and then be jumping up and down as soon as another boy steps into the villa. Like, you gotta relax. So yeah, and the girls were definitely not taking these two bombshells lightly. And like I was saying, I specifically felt bad for Anaya because Casey was acting up a little bit, and when Anaya was doing the challenge, she was quick to find her dude. She didn't stop and do a whole bunch of hoopla. She found her dude, and that was that. So I think Casey is like not fully appreciating the quality that Anaya has, which is to, you know, really stand by his side. So I don't know. So the next thing I wrote was that Sincere and Melanie are a mess, because they are. And I was saying that I love Melanie, but I will say compared to the other girls, she does do a lot, which isn't a bad thing if she's accepting of it and if she's honest with it. But she'll do too much and then be worried about how Sincere feels. And I feel like it's either you need to be 100% considerate / upfront with the fact that you want to explore, or you need to be actively pursuing Sincere in a way that doesn't make him feel like y'all are open for business, because you can't have both. And what I found funny, going back to the comment that I made about how Love Island is a game, I feel like they're not playing the game correctly. Like, you guys are not playing the game. You guys are getting too emotionally invested too quickly, you know? And if that's not what you want, then you need to figure out what you want so that other people aren't getting hurt. So this actually goes right into Zach and Kata. So Zach mentioned to Kata that he owes it to himself not to fully close himself off from potential connections, and Kata was really feeling that when Zach said that. My heart literally broke for Kata, but I also 100% agree, and I see where he's coming from. I think that the bed challenge really opened his eyes and made him realize Zach has been moving like he's in a relationship, and he's not. And that's okay. And he still admits that he is 100% into Kata, but he doesn't want to close himself off. I think the bed challenge and the way that Kata was acting as well, the way that, you know, all the girls got excited when they saw a new bombshell come in, and the way like they kissed, Kata and Caleb, the way they kissed, I think he's starting to realize like, oh, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I don't want to do that anymore. I really like this girl, but you don't come to Love Island to just build a connection with one person, okay? So I think he's just making sure he doesn't put all his eggs in one basket. Yeah, I feel bad for Kata, but I also think that it's fair, you know, like, I completely understand where he's coming from, but it does not feel good to hear something like that from your partner. So, moving on, both Anaya and Sincere were bonding over the fact that they felt disrespected by their partners, and I'm just like, damn. What's crazy is that Melanie and Casey, I feel like they don't understand how disrespectful they can be sometimes with their little comments. Well, with Casey's comments and then with Melanie's behaviors, they don't get how disrespectful it is, you know, and I just think that's totally unfair. I think that goes for all the girls, but when I was watching these last 2 episodes, what I realized is that these girls definitely have a double standard. You know, when they were during the office challenge, when they were all kissing Corbin in the room, I feel like the guys, obviously they were upset, but they kind of laughed it off a little bit. As for the girls, during this challenge, they were all genuinely pissed off, and I get both sides completely, but it's like, you guys we can't have this double standard. We just can't have it. It's just totally unfair, you know, because now they're genuinely upset with these guys, and it's just like, when y'all did it, y'all, like, the guys weren't upset with you. So my next note is more about Melanie and Sincere, of course, and I had mentioned that Melanie and Sincere are definitely obviously Melanie doesn't know that he said that, but I can imagine her hearing it. She would lose her mind. So yeah, I think he's really interested in Soul. And I also found it funny how he said that, oh, if Melanie asked about the kiss, I would tell her. I think when Melanie first initially asked, like, hey, like, what happened in there, I thought it was interesting how he didn't mention the kiss until she asked about it. You know, and obviously that's what he said he was gonna do, but I feel like he's being more so honest rather than transparent, where it's like, oh, if you ask me, I'll tell you the truth, but transparency is like, oh, I'm gonna tell you what happened, even if you didn't ask, because I want you to know, because I want to be clear. And transparency is always gonna be better than honesty, so I don't really know how I feel about that. But to sum it up, I'm gonna read directly off my notes. Overall, I think that Love Island is a game, and people aren't playing the game correctly, because the conversation that Sincere had with Soul, with the conversation that they had, if this was real life, like outside of the villa, that would never work. Like, if I was Melanie, I would lose my marbles. Like, Sincere is constantly talking about how he's really interested in Soul, and now you're turning around talking to Melanie like, oh yeah, I really want to build and focus on our connection, and even like the good through the bad, I still choose you, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, dude, you just had a whole conversation with Soul about how interested you are, and I don't know, it's just very wishy-washy to me, back and forth. And also, the last thing, I'm gonna leave you with this last thing. Sincere lied about who initiated the kiss. When Melanie asked, Sincere told her that Soul is the one who initiated the kiss, and that's not true. It was Sincere. So I'm gonna leave on that note, because I thought that was crazy. Because you're lying and you're not even in a relationship, but that's just so messy. I'm gonna leave on that note. I know this was a short one. I feel like everything I had to say was just very direct, you know. So comment down below your thoughts. Comment down below like what you're thinking and how do you feel about Sincere